Greetings and welcome. I do indeed believe we are going an official greetings and welcome to SEM Mondays. This is absolutely the place to be every week for all things source energy medicine as a way to continue to support you during this pandemic, during this health crisis. I am going to continue with this extended format. First 10 minutes or so will be open Q&A. Happy to talk about anything that you would like to talk about. Specifically about source energy medicine, but I am open to questions about anything about health and well-being, and I will almost always relate that to source energy medicine in somehow, right? What would be my approach to that? So my chat is totally not working today at all. I will keep an eye on that and see if it comes back, but I'm not sure where it went or why it went away, but it is not here, and I don't have another monitor. So I do have some questions that have come in by email and the various ways that questions make their way to me. So, yeah. So you can still post questions, comments in the chat, shoot emojis. Gosh, I sure hope you can see me and hear me. Post a 21 in the chat if you can see me and hear me. And as I was saying, about the first few minutes are going to be Q&A, questions that I have on hand unless my chat decides to make an extreme comeback. And then we'll segue into this group energy healing session. And within source energy medicine, just in case you don't know, there is an energy healing modality. It's the same technology that is incorporated in our charging label system, and yet it's much, much, much faster, and we're able to go beyond so from my perspective, what we're able to achieve with the charging label system is expansive, and that actually continues to expand, and there are a whole variety of reasons why that is. But, I started sharing source energy medicine back in 2005, and what we're able to do today because of that expansion is almost makes what happened in 2005 seem pale by comparison. In 2005, I'm still so amazed by all of it. But looking back at 2005, it was a lot slower. There were things, so much was different back in 2005. So, gosh, before we go much further, just in case you don't know, my name is Stephen Pollitt, and I created Source Energy Medicine way back then, and I have been passionately sharing it since. And SEM Mondays, I created SEM Mondays as a way for us to be able to connect virtually from the safety and comfort of our own homes. And it's primarily geared towards those who are new to source energy medicine. However, we have a lot of folks from our community who've been around our community for a long time, and sometimes they're in a place of just being stuck and are looking for their next step. So everyone is welcome. And if you don't know about the non-material aspect of source energy medicine, the energy healing component, when we're done here today, if you search on YouTube or search on Google for non-material aspect of source energy medicine or source energy medicine and energy healing modality, it'll come up. And as I mentioned, it's called the non-material aspect, N-O-N, material aspect, because there's no material substance, no charging labels, no bottles, no water. It's strictly energy, which is what we all are anyway, right? So, and that's one of the reasons why it is the fastest, the most direct approach to being able to experience source energy medicine. So let me just see if I do indeed have my chat. I don't have my chat, and I don't know why, and I'm going to be okay with it, but I apologize, gosh, for folks who are here with me live. I kind of want to take a second here and see if I can't get the chat going on one of my devices. So folks who are here, bear with me one second. We'll give that a try. So I talk a lot about A Course in Miracles, and in part because I'm a Course in Miracles student. Inside of our workshops, I talk about it in much greater depth. But one of the reasons why I like A Course in Miracles and one of the reasons why I study A Course in Miracles is because, if I look at healing big picture wise, I would characterize it as three different components, three different segments. There is the subconscious, the conscious, and the unconscious. And the subconscious, I wish it had a different name. And I talk a lot about the subconscious within Source Energy Medicine because that is the primary domain of Source Energy Medicine. We certainly do spill over a bit into the conscious and unconscious, especially in the non-material aspect of Source Energy Medicine. But Source Energy Medicine, it really came about because of my growing fascination and my growing awareness of how powerful the subconscious mind is. Some leading edge experts say the subconscious mind is up to 20,000 times more powerful than the conscious or unconscious, which if you think about it is completely unfair. And then it makes me think, well, how is my subconscious mind behaving? And for most of us, not well in terms of calibration. And so there too, on our YouTube channel, there are several videos where I talk about the subconscious mind and why it's the most important piece to heal, right, to transform. And I believe first and foremost. But then we have the conscious and the unconscious mind, and just to simplify and to clarify terms, conscious mind and conscious thoughts, conscious beliefs are beliefs that I hold, and I know I hold them. If you asked me if I believed something, I would say yes. An unconscious belief is a belief that I hold that I don't have conscious awareness of. So if you asked me if I believe that, I might say yes with my initial reaction, but if I really took a deeper look, it might surprise me that I believe that to be true. So it's the unconscious mind is curious, but the unconscious and conscious are essentially two parts of the same mind, where the subconscious mind, I wish they called it something different, or we called it something different, because it certainly has a relationship to the conscious and unconscious, and yet it creates a lot of confusion. A lot of people, a lot of experts are describing the unconscious mind with attributes and features and functions that I would attribute to the subconscious mind, and vice versa. So I think it's not helpful for everyone, that most folks can't seem to agree on what should we call these things, and how they function. But A Course in Miracles really helps us. So in an ideal world, we all should, and I rarely use the word should, but I say should because in an ideal world, to me it's essential to heal on the subconscious first, and then unconscious and conscious second and third, and those two can be done simultaneously. But without first transforming the subconscious mind, to work on the conscious and unconscious is futile. A Course in Miracles really is a course in deconstructing conscious and unconscious beliefs and then rebuilding them, right? Reconstructing them. So I talk very often about A Course in Miracles. This is my copy, well worn, and it actually is indeed 3 books in one. There is the text, the workbook for students, and then the manual for teachers. And if you dive into A Course in Miracles and you begin to study it, there's what most people do is study the text and the workbook, or just the workbook. The workbook is considered to be the crux of the course, and that's the way it's described in A Course in Miracles. There are a lot of very famous authors who their entire careers are based on the teachings of A Course in Miracles, like Marianne Williamson, one of my favorite authors, one of Oprah Winfrey's favorite authors. Oprah found Marianne's first book, was introduced to it. It's titled Return to Love, and Oprah had Marianne on her show, and Marianne became best-selling author literally overnight. And Marianne's very transparent about that. And through all these years, right, that was, I think, 1986, 87, somewhere around there. Throughout all of these years, Marianne has had 7 or 8 New York Times #1 bestsellers, and has remained all of these years one of Oprah Winfrey's favorite authors. And Marianne is such a source of inspiration. Folks in the U.S. and probably others also are aware that Marianne recently was she was seeking the Democratic nomination to run for president of the United States, which to me was such a bold and courageous move. And her entire platform was based on the teachings of A Course in Miracles. So the workbook is 365 lessons. It is brilliant, and in so many ways. 1 lesson a day is the suggested way to approach it, and there's a lesson to read, and then there's a practice, there's a meditation, there's a quote, if you will, to keep in your awareness. And the first half of the year, right, first half of the 365 lessons is deconstructing the world that we were all born into, right? This world that Buddha called an illusion, that many call lies, that many say is not real. And yet we're all born into, and we buy into this mental, material, physical realm, this physical body as being the truth of my being, the truth of my identity. And so the first half of the year, we deconstruct the human, egoic-based model of this world. And then the second half of the year, we reconstruct, reframe, reprogram our view of our construct of the world. And this revisioning, if you will, this reconstruction is the way the source of all creation, or God, if you will, intended us to have this experience. So Joel Goldsmith, the philosopher and teacher, said that humanhood is something separate and apart from God, or it wouldn't be in so much trouble. And I look around at the world that I see these days, and it's humanhood, right? It is human created, it's ego based. And Course in Miracles talks a lot about the ego, and one of the things that I like is it distinguishes the ego very differently from the way a lot of psychologists and psychiatrists would describe the ego. But from A Course in Miracles perspective, the ego is that part that wants to see me as separate and apart from you and everyone, every sentient being on this planet. And that is the root of many, 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 many of the problems. In fact, a lot of the problems that we have these days are because of escalations of that egoic-based, individualistic, selfish, self-centered way of being. So I do indeed talk a lot about A Course in Miracles. I'm an avid student. I love Marianne Williamson and all of her books. And, one of the things that I love about it is before becoming a Course in Miracles student, like one of the things that very, very early on, pardon me, is there are all of these statements that you go through, and one of them is that miracles are our birthright. And when I'm not experiencing a miracle, it's because I'm blocking it. It's not because God is holding it from me, or I have to get in good graces, or I'm being punished in some way, but I'm blocking it in some way. God is constantly, always, and can never stop blessing my life, blessing your life. And A Course in Miracles teaches us that our job is not to seek love, but to seek that which would prevent me from fully extending love and receiving love. And you can overlay that same teaching on anything. Course in Miracles teaches us that the only thing in any situation to do is to extend and receive love. And it is indeed, I see it as an infinity symbol. As I send out unconditional love to the world, it goes out around the world, picks up momentum, picks up like vibration along the way, and returns to me. Same is true if I am sending out a lot of harsh judgments or hatred or anger that is going to go out, very much like an infinity symbol, and pick up like vibrations, pick up momentum, and return to me. So it seems like every time on SEM Mondays I talk about Course in Miracles, we get a slew of emails about what is Course in Miracles and why do you talk about it so much, or something along those lines. And I thought I would take a few moments today and just touch upon it. Marianne Williamson's first book, A Return to Love, she often describes as, you know, I don't know if you got a good chance to see like the thickness, the volume of this. And sure, it's 3 books in one. But each one, well, the workbook and the text are both substantial, very small type, very closely spaced. So it is indeed a lifelong study. The suggestion for the workbook is 1 lesson a day for 365 days. And just so you know, if you haven't studied it, when you get to 365, you go back to 1 and you start again. And there are no rules. Some people don't start back at 1. The second time that I went through it, I didn't start back at 1. The third time I went through it, I regretted not having gone back to 1 the second time because there's so much precious information, nuggets of wisdom in the very early ones. So it's really a book that from where I stand now, I will likely, especially the workbook, I will continue to read my workbook lessons, likely as long as I have a pulse. It really, really, really supports my mission. It supports my health and well-being. I like having a theme for the day, something to focus on. It always reveals to me my edge. It always reveals to me my shadow. It always reveals to me that which would be helpful for me to lean into, or that which I have been sweeping under the carpet and perhaps living in denial about, right? How can I bring that out into the light and embrace it and incorporate that into my life? So it is a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic tool for me for creating structure in my life. I begin my day with reading my lesson, and I end my day with reading my lesson, and meditation again are part of each of those. And I know a lot of folks who I've been talking to are struggling with structure in their days since this whole COVID thing started, and it in a lot of ways turned our lives upside down. So Course in Miracles to me provides stability, right? Marianne Williamson always talks about, if I don't start my day just firmly grounded in the truth of my being and surround myself with the unconditional love and light, which is the source of all creation, darkness is the default. Darkness is the preset. So if I don't consciously take time for myself and do that, and I just go to my phone and start texting and checking social media and email, the darkness settles in, and then to recover from that is very, 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 very challenging. Whereas if I start my day grounded in the truth of my being, right, not this illusion of my being, but what I believe to be is the truth of my being, then I stand a half a chance to be able to have a positive impact in this world. And it's not that, it's interesting because not that long ago, it's not that I was anti-technology, I just didn't embrace it the way I do now. And I certainly had judgments about, essentially the spiritual nature of technology. And now I firmly believe that if Jesus or Krishna or Buddha were to come today, they would have multimedia companies, right? They would have marketing teams. They would be doing launches. They'd be doing online courses. They'd be texting. They'd be on social media. So, it's interesting because a lot of people that who are in the higher consciousness community who see technology as not being spiritual, in a way, it's that harsh judgment about anything that really takes me out of really being in a space of divinity, right? And it puts me back into the mortal realm. So I think technology certainly can be used to bless and to heal, to uplift and to inspire. Look at the way Marianne Williamson utilizes it, right? Look at the way Hay House utilizes it. In my own way, the way I am embracing, I had so much resistance to social media. I had so much resistance to YouTube. And now I am I have issues with YouTube. If anyone from YouTube is listening and you care, it's a clunky platform, especially from where I stand, from the broadcaster's perspective. They're owned by Google. You guys can do a much better job than what you do. And that's my little rant on YouTube. However, I am so grateful to YouTube because it's a way that we can get together. Yes, you do need a link to get in here or have subscribed to my page or click the cool bell icon so that you get notified when I'm online. But it's a way for us to be able to stay in the comfort of our own home, connect, ask questions, experience some energy healing. And sure, we could do it on Zoom. I've done this on Zoom. I transitioned from Zoom to YouTube to try and help more people. But, YouTube, in spite of its technical challenges, is an amazing platform. There's so many people on YouTube every day. It's it truly is a blessing. And so that's pretty much what I have to share about Course in Miracles. If you have any questions about Course in Miracles, my chat is back live. Thank you for all the 21s and the emojis. Awesome to see some folks that I know well and some folks that are relatively new to SEM Mondays, at least as far as I know. So welcome everyone. If you have a question that you've been sitting on, please go ahead and type that into the chat. I'm going to begin to segue into doing the energy healing part of this program. I think a couple of very important things that are important for you to know is one of the reasons why I always talk about Course in Miracles is because from the Course in Miracles perspective, there is no such thing as a difficulty when it comes to miracles, right? And if you think about it, the source of all creation is always the one that is healing us, and the source of all creation is within each of us. We are source energy. Part of the problem is we don't know we are consciously, and our physiology is too far removed from it energetically for us to have that kind of divine experience, to be in this world but not of this world, to be able to transcend the mental, physical, material realm. So, often when I prompt folks to think of what it is that they would like to focus their energy on in terms of a goal or a challenge, they want to start with something small. Or they go the other way, right? They have 12 challenges and 4 goals, and they just want to work on it all at the same time. And my suggestion is choose one goal or one challenge per session. You can come back and you can revisit this same session. I've been offering these mini non-material source energy medicine sessions since back in March, I believe we started. And you can revisit any one more than one time, choose a different goal, choose a different challenge. And the reason why I say that is if I have 12 challenges and 4 goals and I want to work on it all at once, it's hard to realize what's happening, right? Where am I making progress? Where am I not? So if I focus on one goal or one challenge, then it's much easier for me to be able to track my progress in terms of measurable results, right? In terms of something tangible, something that I can actually show someone else, or I look at it and I can actually see evidence of. So it's I love thinking that about that teaching. I think of that teaching all the time. There is no order of difficulty when it comes to miracles, right? It is that source of all creation that is within me that is constantly healing myself, and same is true for you. And source energy medicine, to a large degree, like the teaching I mentioned just a few moments ago about our job is not to seek love, but to seek that which would prevent me, right? What's the resistance? What are the roadblocks that are preventing me from extending love and fully receiving love? What are the roadblocks that are preventing me from being self-balancing, self-healing, and self-correcting? And that, to a large degree, is the way I look at source energy medicine, especially with regards to the subconscious mind, which is where this conversation started. Most people, I look at my life before source energy medicine, I consciously was passionately engaged. I was at times desperately seeking ways to be able to heal myself. I had several significant challenges. Some were progressive, some were threatening my career. From my parents' death 2 days apart, and being the youngest of 4 children, I could see the future that my genes held in store for me. And I didn't have the languaging for it then, and I certainly was not interested in an integrative way of healing. I just wanted to heal. It's not that I was holistically minded or just wanted a natural approach, a non-toxic, a non-dangerous approach. I just wanted to heal. And when everything else failed me, I ended up exploring further and further and further out in terms of integrative approaches to healing. But if my subconscious mind was not functioning the way it was, I would not have had all of the challenges that I had. And one of the reasons why I haven't had any physical challenges since 2005, not even a cold or a flu, is because the way my subconscious mind has been expressing itself, has been functioning, and specifically has been calibrated. So I invite you to think about what it is that you would like to focus on in terms of goal or challenge. And again, no order of difficulty when it comes to miracles, and miracles are indeed our birthright. So think about what it is that you would like to receive. This work is super fast. It will likely be just a couple of moments. My intention is to work on the key elements that will help to keep you well, help to keep you healthy during this pandemic. And of course, you get to choose what it is you would like to work on in terms of your goal and challenge. Some folks like to send a healing request. If you post something in the chat, just make sure that you're aware that this is a public forum. YouTube has the privacy thing right there, but if you type something in the chat, everyone sees it. So just have that awareness. You can always email me, or if you're inside our free mini course or any of our online courses, you can always communicate through the forums in there, through the portals in there. So I turn my camera off when I do this. There'll be some chanting playing in the background. On your end, you are still, especially in this modality, you are still healing yourself. You're the one that's in charge. You're leading the pace. And it is that divine aspect in you that you might be having difficulty seeing or feeling or getting in touch with. And that's pretty much my role, to help you to get in touch with that, to remove any resistance that is preventing you from really experiencing that, right? Having that full actualization. So get comfortable. If you're in a place where it is safe and appropriate, some folks like to close their eyes. If you're not in a place that's safe or appropriate to close your eyes, please don't. And perhaps come back and revisit this at another time when you can carve out some time where you are in a place where you can receive this work at a deeper level, right? So go ahead and get comfortable. I'll get things set up on my end. And as much as possible, when you think about the one goal or the one challenge that you would like to experience, try and see it from the end, if you will. And by that I mean try and see it as if it is already part of your experience. And it might only be 1% part of your experience or 20% part of your experience. But as much as possible, try and see it as part of your experience already. And if you can't measure it in terms of any tangible way, just lean into the knowing that it is on its way and it is unfolding on every level for you, quickly, under grace, in perfect, divine, and miraculous ways. Continue to breathe comfortably and simply allow. Simply receive. As much as possible, try and trust the process. Trust in the divine orchestration that led you here today. Give thanks for the technology, for perhaps a friend who shared source energy medicine with you. Sometimes that friend is Google. So simply continue to allow and receive. And as much as possible, try and view yourself or view that challenge or what you're perceiving as a challenge or that goal the way the source of all creation sees you and that challenge or goal. I love the teaching from A Course in Miracles that prompts us to ask, what am I thinking about this situation or condition or challenge that God is not thinking? And what is God thinking that I am not thinking? That always helps me to view a challenge or a goal or myself from the perspective of the source of all creation, or God, if you will. invite you to take a nice deep breath. Continue to allow, continue to receive. And I want you to realize that while this work is phenomenally fast, and that was just a few moments in terms of linear time, this work will continue to literally upload, download, and install into every aspect of your being for hours and hours to come. And there is definite advantage to coming back and revisiting either this session or one from previous SEM Mondays. There are a lot of folks, since COVID started, really when it started peaking, there have been a lot of people in our community who have been watching one of the replays once or twice a day just to help to keep their energy level high. I talk a lot about energy level and calibrated energy level, and if you're new, I apologize, but you can, as soon as we're done here, you can search on Google or search on YouTube for source energy medicine and calibrated energy, and there's a playlist that has a couple of videos on there where I talk about the importance of understanding calibrated energy, and it's, to me, the way that I'm able to understand both dis-ease as well as vibrant well-being. From a tangible, measurable perspective, right? So I am super grateful for this opportunity to gather with you here today for another installment of SEM Mondays live. Gosh, while you are on with me, if you thought of anyone who you think would be interested in source energy medicine, who would benefit from an opportunity to connect like this, who would be open and eager to experience a group energy healing session, YouTube makes it so easy to share videos. Just click that share link and you'll see all of the options that you have. Certainly, subscribing to our channel is one really great way for me to be able to continue to support you. And if you click on that kooky bell icon, YouTube will let you know when I upload a new video or when I am indeed live. So as long as, this pandemic continues, I'll continue with this extended format. So schedule some Mondays into your calendar or somewhere in your day. Most people are not able to join us live for this, and which is awesome because you get to watch SEM Mondays in your own time zone and at your own convenience. It is a way of us being able to connect, to support each other in a safe and hopefully comfortable atmosphere wherever you're watching this from. So as always, I wish you continued blessings, not only on your journey with source energy medicine, but your journey with life. Bye for now.